everybody, it's Amy from Winterwood Studio and welcome to this week's video. It is a mishmash video of everything I am doing in my art studio this week. It is July 9th, Tuesday, July 9th. Today is the start of my small painting challenge that I'm hosting over on Patreon for July this month. The goal is to do 3 small paintings a week and today is the day it officially starts. So I'm really excited about that. I'm definitely going to be doing some painting this week. I have a small art haul thing here to open to help with the painting challenge. I was out of some paint. Some of this is a restock, but there is a couple new supplies in here that I'm trying. And then I'm also hoping this week to do some photography of my original artwork that I have. I've never tried to sell any of my original artwork. It's one of my art fears, trying to sell it. So I am going to be brave and I'm going to start taking photos of my artwork and getting ready to do like a grand reopening of my shop with the original art in it. So that is my plan for this week. The painting challenge, I'm probably going to be working in acrylic and oils this week. So that is my plan this week. If I ended up doing something different, it'll be popping up around here now, unless it's so bad that I have to refilm it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So that is my plan for this week. So grab yourself something nice to drink and come on in and let's have a fun week in my art studio together. Okay, so we're gonna start this week with, I have a small set of things here to open. We're gonna start with that this week. And like I said, some of this is restocks. I have been painting a lot and I have used up some of my paints. So I didn't take my shipping address off of any of these. I'm just going to do my best not to show it to you. But I can't start the small painting challenge this week until I open it. So in this first one, we have 2 tubes of Golden Open Slow Drying Acrylics. This one is in Quinacridone Magenta. And this one is covered, but I think it is the raw umber. And actually these aren't restocks. I had this small set of Golden Open that Golden had been nice enough to send me just to try. And I love them so much for plein air painting that I got some more colors because I like a couple more colors in my palette than is what is in that set. So here's the raw umber. 2 of these. I think there might be another couple more colors in here too. So let's open up the rest of this stuff here and see what we've got. This bottom, I don't know if you can see it, there's a bottom package here that I did open and use already. I'm excited to tell you about. This is the Golden Open in Carbon Black. Just because this makes a nice dark green if you mix it with yellow. And also it's a good way to make things a little bit darker sometimes when you are doing landscapes, although I don't generally use black. Okay, this is a restock. I ran out of my Gamblin Manganese Blue oil paint, so this is a restock. And then in this one, I think this is, I don't know which one this one is. Let's get a pair of scissors. I'm really excited to do some painting this month. Things have been kind of hard. This is not a restock. This is one of the other, or I think the only other new color of Golden Open I got. This is the Golden Open in Cadmium Yellow Dark. So these I have really been enjoying for plein air painting. They don't dry as fast in this hot summer weather, and it's very similar to working with oils, except you can just use water to thin, which has been really nice. I've really been enjoying it. I've been taking, actually I have it out here. I didn't plan it, but I've been using this. So this is, you might have seen this in a video that I got a while back. It's not great for plein air painting, but it's better than nothing. So it opens up like this. There's a little stick to hold it up, and here's my little plein air painting set up for right now. I've got a few brushes right here, and then all my Golden Open paints, 1 mixer and the medium. And this is what I've been taking with me. Hopefully these other ones will fit in here with everything. I might have to, maybe I can, probably can't see. Oh, you can see. So I put the paintbrush up there. Let's see if the rest of this will fit here. These are bigger tubes, but they're, you know, a better deal to buy the bigger tubes, so hopefully it still all fits. We'll see. And that closes. Ooh, it's close. Is it gonna close? If we put these down here, then will it close? Yep. Excuse me. So it does all close. It's a little bit, not quite closed, but someday I'd like to get a nice plein air setup, but it's not in the budget right now. If anybody knows anybody who like makes them like on Etsy or something and they want to point them my way and I'll do a video over about one of your plein air setups, I'd feel free to point them my way. So the other thing that I got, I'll just cover my address here to the best of my ability. Actually, maybe I can just rip it off. I already opened this. I've already had it out and was using it. Okay. I ordered this from Panel Pack. So it's hard, oops. So when you're using oils or the Golden Open, obviously you have a wet painting to take home. So I had been painting almost exclusively in 5x7 and using the Handy Porter 5x7, but they've discontinued the other sizes of these. And I really wanted to work bigger than just 5x7. It's carries 4 5x7 panels in there. So I looked around and this was a little bit expensive, but I decided to pull the trigger and get this. And like I said, I've already had it out. It comes with one side with like a MDF panel in case you only want to do one painting. But I've got my 2 8x10s in here. It comes with the rubber bands. And then it just touches the very edges of the painting in this lip. So you can carry 2 wet paintings home with just the very edges maybe being disturbed that you can touch up when you get home, but it's very minimal. And I would like to get this in other sizes, but they do, I think this was like maybe 35 for the 8x10. Maybe more than that with shipping, so I'll have to, I'd like the 9x12, but I can't afford that right now. So that is the Panel Pack that I got, and I've already taken it out painting. I started this painting while I was out with the Golden Opens, but did not finish it yet. It's darker than I would like. I need to lighten it all up, and the water is not done and everything, but I did paint this plein air outside on location. And then I might have shown this one a while ago. This is upside down. But also Golden Open. This was just a quick little study I did on a 5x7 panel. And then I've also been, this is an oil that I did, and this is not a 9x12, and I had a heck of a time bringing this home, but 9x12 oil. I don't know if this one's done or if I want to put more in. It's at a very nice, like, loose stage right now, and I had been thinking that I would maybe do more detail, but I'm kind of liking how loose it is, so I don't know. I'm not sure if that one's done yet. We're working on it, or I'm working on it. Okay, so now the last box, this has the exciting stuff in it, in here. Although there is 2 restocks, I think, in here too. So, I have to open this. Okay, so, yep, the 2 restocks. So I'm going to pull the restocks out first. So this is my other restock. I ordered Gamblin oils in cadmium yellow light out of that, and ultramarine blue out of that. This is my second favorite brand of oil paints. My first favorite brand is Michael Harding. I've got all my oil paints are back there. Michael Harding is my first favorite brand. It's professional quality and really luscious and beautiful to paint with, but also super, super expensive. So my second favorite brand, also professional quality, maybe not quite as luscious and gorgeous, are the Gamblin. Still really, really good paints, still professional quality. So they are less expensive. So when I'm doing a lot of studies and stuff, or if I just don't have a lot of money that month and I need to restock paint, then I buy Gamblin, which is kind of what happened this month. All right, so then also in here I have just a little 5x7 sketchbook. This is, I was sort of thinking I'd like to, I'm trying to loosen up my artwork, and I thought I could take this with me when I walk the dog and just like go out and maybe very loose and very quickly like sketch the lines of trees or a landscape or something, just to like start getting loose line and mark making into my repertoire. I don't know. But I'm still working through some art block, and I thought also that might help. And then also I got the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers, the set of 5 in Plein Air. That's the color set, Plein Air. Very appropriate. And then I also got the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor markers in the portrait set. I have never tried any watercolor markers whatsoever, but these are supposed to be light fast rated. Here, this one. Open this one up. This is the portrait set. Hopefully right on the tube they are. This is a 3, 2, 3, 2. I wonder what they're out of. 3. There's a little booklet here. Let's open it up real quick and take a look. I keep scratching my face. My allergies are terrible today. But maybe they might have a chart in here so we could see what it is out of color-wise. So 1 is reasonable light fastness, 2 is high light fast, and 3 is maximum. So the reason I got these is obviously alcohol markers are not light fast, and I've been doing a lot of mixed media stuff where I start with alcohol markers and then layer other things over them, like my Neocolor 2s or my oil pastels or colored pencils, and I just wanted to use something that was light fast just because I don't want things fading. And I've been doing light fast testing. I know they're not light fast, but even like some of the purples and blues will start to fade if it's like shut in a sketchbook in a drawer, no exposure to light within like a week. So I just wanted to test these out and see what I thought of them and play around with them and have fun. I don't know if I'll have time this month to do that now. It depends on if I decide to do some small mixed media paintings with those, so we will see. Okay, so now let's move on to this week and the painting and the photography. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so this is the first of 2 paintings you get to see in this week's video. This one is oil paints, and there are several different ways to paint with oil paints. There's the traditional way, which does tend to use some toxic chemicals, or there's the non-traditional way, and if you get into the whole non-traditional, there's several different ways to do it completely non-toxic. But I think, I don't know, so obviously that's going to be a very long topic to talk about, and I've had a lot of requests from people to put together a like intro to oil paint, like what you need, what supplies you need, how to paint non-toxic, etc. kind of class. And I mentioned it, I think, before, and I also have a poll up because I've had people ask for classes in several different subjects. So if you want to go over to the community tab of my channel here, there's a poll up. It's the second poll, I think, asking about what people would like to see a class in first. I think right now a mixed media class is winning, with oil paint, especially non-toxic, coming in second place. But I've like verbally had more people. I haven't really had anybody ask me for a mixed media class like in person or verbally. However, I've had lots of people ask me to put together a how to oil paint class with a whole unit in that class on non-toxic oil painting. So if you want to vote for what class you'd like to see first, I do think this fall I'd like to start working on a class. So if you would like to vote and see which one gets voted for first, although there is a chance I may go out of order, even if it's like I might pick the second most popular one instead of the first if I feel like it. I don't know. It's going to be whatever I feel like working on. But the classes would cover like all the supplies you need for both professional or for someone who's just starting out. So I'd give my recommendations for both in, whatever topic the class is on. And then we would do some basic demos and demonstrations, and then do at least one demonstration painting. I'm thinking each class would run about 5 hours long and probably cost $60 for like an intro to type class. The oil painting one might end up running a little bit longer, but it would still be the same price. So here I am doing traditional oil painting. However, I am using the least toxic chemicals you can use and just a tiny, tiny bit. The reason I'm wearing gloves is because I was painting with cadmiums and they are a heavy metal. If you're using cadmium in watercolor or acrylic, you should still consider wearing gloves because it is still toxic in those. There's some debate as to how much of it actually gets absorbed through the skin. If you have, you know, skin irritation or a cut or something, obviously you're going to maybe be a little bit more exposed. So be aware of that. I personally, because I have autoimmune disease and health issues, I do personally try to play it safe, and especially for some reason with oil paint and acrylic paint, I seem to get it all over my hands every time I paint. I don't know why. It doesn't happen as much with watercolor. Maybe I paint faster, I don't know, but especially when I'm oil painting or acrylic painting, if I'm using the cadmiums or the cobalts, I do like to wear gloves. These are just nitrile gloves from Amazon. So I did do this whole painting like traditionally. This is how you would do a traditional oil painting. However, it is alla prima, which means all at once, and it's basically considered like wet into wet. So there's different techniques for that. I generally paint in layers. However, I've been trying to paint more alla prima because then you don't have to worry about the fat over lean rule with oil painting, and it makes it a little bit more simple, but also I just have been trying to learn some new techniques just for fun, and I did have a lot of fun doing this. I tried to keep it looser and more impressionistic. I tried really hard not to overwork it and not to like touch my brush strokes. I tried to have like clear color notes and clear brush strokes and not go back and smooth them out. I ended up going a little bit farther in the water than I wanted to go, but this is really just like a study or a practice. It's just a 5x7 inch piece. When I do have the grand reopening of my shop, all these little paintings that I've been doing on canvases will be in the original artwork section. I'm probably going to price all my original artwork on paper, I think at $2 a square inch, and anything on canvas $3 a square inch, unless it gets up into like the really big size, like bigger than 16 by 20, then it might be $4 a square inch just to cover materials or whatever. But yeah, that should be coming soon. I'm working on it. My fingers are crossed. Okay, so here we are. I've got my painter's color diary. This is my watercolor one. I have two watercolor ones. And I thought we could swatch these in here. I've never used watercolor markers before. I've never even used like water-based markers, like except for when I was a kid. So this will be interesting. I don't know what I'm doing, is what I'm saying. Long story short, I don't know what I'm doing. So let's, do I have a pen here? We'll write over here. I'm gonna write Faber-Castell. What are these? I'll just write watercolor markers. Watercolor markers. I have enjoyed using the alcohol markers, but they are not light fast. So I wanted to try these and see if these might be an option for replacing them, especially in my mixed media work. They do have the light fast rating on them. Does it say? I don't know what they're out of. There are 2 2s and 2 3s in here. Oh, here it is. So 1 is reasonable light fastness, 2 is high light fastness, and 3 is maximum light fastness. So let's try this. I'm not even sure what I'm doing. We'll do just a solid swatch up here, and then let's try adding a little water to it and see what happens, because I really don't know what I'm doing. Oh, look at that. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so it does make like a little bit of a wash, but it doesn't really fade the edges, so that is good to know. So I got the portrait set and the landscape set. Let's finish swatching these portrait ones and see what we think. I've heard you're not supposed to use them on watercolor paper because it's hard to reactivate them actually. I'm not gonna waste it. We'll just do a little swatch like that. I don't know if that's true. If it is or not, somebody let me know down in the comments. So that is like a totally different color almost. It's much more red when you swatch it. I don't really imagine that I would be doing a lot of, these are, like I said, to replace alcohol markers. So like a base layer and a mixed media type artwork is how I'm planning to use these. Don't run into each other. And I wanted something that was light fast. So after I swatch them on here, I might try them on a different paper and see what I think. All right, and now our last color in this set. I'm gonna label all these, I think, too. I definitely want to swatch these on like my Royal Talons or a Moleskine, but I don't know where my main sketchbook is. I can't find it. I thought it was in my backpack for going Plein Air, but it's not, so I'm gonna have to go look for it. All right, let's open this one. I'm gonna come back and label all of these too so I know what I have. This is the landscape set. Hopefully there is no overlap. I don't think there is. I've been trying to remember to check. I used to check all the time, and then I didn't check when I got my acrylic inks, and I got I got a bunch of duplicates, and then I've been trying to remember to check again. I don't think this is the same. Is it? Uh-oh. Yep, they're the same. That's okay. I won't swatch that one then. Alright, so let's actually, I'll quick label these here with their light fast ratings too. So this one was, I think, the ultramarine. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. Alright, now let's move on to the landscape set. Oh no, there's two ultramarines. Did I not even check these? I did it again, you guys. Ugh, what a waste. I swear I checked. I swear I checked to make sure they weren't the same. Maybe it was listed wrong. I did get them on Amazon, so maybe it was listed wrong. So I'm gonna quick write down what these three that aren't repeats are. And then I think I'm gonna try to, I'll swatch them in my Royal Talons maybe, I think. Grab the Royal Talons, this one, because I don't know where my Moleskine Experimentation Journal is, which is the one I really wanted to swatch it in, but I don't know where it is. So we will just, I don't know, maybe I'll go to the back page here and swatch on the back. Okay. And that's weird. Some of the colors are really different from the brush to the fine for some reason. Like this is like a brown compared to a yellow. That's kind of interesting. I'm just going to see how it re-wets on this paper. So it does come off a little bit better on this paper. I had heard you're not supposed to use them on, and it doesn't really come through a little bit. Okay, so actually that was a good experiment. Now my other question is, do I want the Faber-Castell ones or do I want the Winsor & Newton watercolor markers? I don't know. If you have an opinion, please leave it down in the comments if you think, because I would like to get more light fast markers to use for the base layers of my mixed media things. So if you have a preference over Winsor & Newton or Faber-Castell, please let me know in the comments before I waste my money buying one. That's not good. Okay. I guess it's time to move on to the next thing now. So I decided to do a little mixed media painting here with my watercolor markers. I had intended to mostly use them as actual markers. However, the shades weren't right with what I had. I was working with a limited palette. So with watercolor markers, you can just draw right on a ceramic palette and then add a little water to activate it, and it's basically watercolor. So I did almost this entire sketchbook spread with just these. I did add in, I think, 3 colored pencils, maybe 4 colored pencils at the end, but it was almost all the markers. Here I'm using them actually as markers, although I don't know, I don't think I do go over it. Do I? I can't remember. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I used them as markers and then went over it with a paintbrush to soften it. They did dry really light, a lot lighter than I would expect with watercolors, but I mean, probably there's not as much pigment because it has to be able to flow through, the marker tip and everything. But I thoroughly enjoyed doing this little sketchbook spread. I had the most fun I've had in a really long time, and I sort of got into the zone and just zoned out, and it was like the old days before I had art block and before I had to do my art on as like YouTube videos. I just sort of zoned out and had a lot of fun. And it was actually relaxing for the first time in like a year. I got into art originally like as a way to relax and to help me deal with the stress of like my autoimmune disease and all of that. And it used to be I would do art and my brain would just shut off and it would be quiet in my head and I would not be worrying or stressing or thinking about anything. It just like in the zone. But ever since I started like trying to do art, on YouTube and more as a job, it's been a lot harder to get into that zone if I ever get into it. And it feels like it's been a struggle. For those of you who are following me ever since I hurt my shoulder in November and then had the surgery in March, it just has been like one thing after another for our family. And I think I'm dealing with, like I said, some burnout, some art block, not some art, for sure art block, serious art block, the worst I've ever had. Although I do feel like maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit better. I've been making a lot of art, but that's because I've been hosting challenges over on my Patreon. There was a June challenge for the Fill Your Sketchbook challenge, and then the July challenge we're in right now is the Tiny Painting challenge. And I've been doing it along with my Patreons, and I haven't missed any of the days so far for either June or July. And I was doing that specifically to like push myself a little bit and try to get back into the whole art making phase and to try to find my joy in it again and to find my way back to having it be a stress relief. And just like this last week or two, maybe, I felt like I might see a little bit of a spark of interest in creativity returning. And I did a no-buy for all of June and part of July. And then I bought that little bit of, I ran out of some paints and I got the panel pack and these watercolor markers this week. I am probably going to put together an order at Blick for some more mixed media stuff for an art haul probably in August. And that makes me feel kind of excited. I feel kind of excited to pick out some new art materials and try some new things and test some new things. And that actually is good because I have not felt that in a while. I've been doing some other hobbies that I used to do back in the day. I've been crocheting and making some jewelry. I think I mentioned, or at least in the words, I think at the beginning of this video, that I've been working on some jewelry. I was a jeweler in my other life, not my other life, but before I did this, I was a jeweler up until 2022. And then I lost my job and decided to try to do this for a while. But I've missed making jewelry, and I spent some time making some jewelry this week. Oh, there's my phone. And that actually helped too, as did, I've been taking a lunch break and like eating lunch, like sitting down to eat lunch and then working on the crochet for a little bit. I'm making an anniversary present for my husband. I think this spread is done now, and I think I just left the camera running, but I didn't shut it off so that I could talk to you and say goodbye, because I forgot to come back and film an outro. So, but anyway, I've been doing some other hobbies. I've been reading a lot. If you're a Patreon over on Patreon, in my podcast, I show you pictures of what I'm working on and for crochet, and I have some of the books that I've been reading. I try to do book recommendations in the podcast, and that's in the podcast and video level tier. So if you want to check that out, you are more than welcome to do that. But I really, really enjoyed these watercolor markers. I definitely want more. It looks like there's only about 30 colors in the Faber-Castell range. And then the Winsor & Newton has, I think, probably about the same. If there's any other brands of light, I want them to be light fast. So if there's any other brands of light fast watercolors you'd like to recommend, or if you recommend, or you like one brand more than the other, please leave a comment for me down below so that I can check it out and make sure I get good stuff and check out all the brands and supplies you guys like. But I've been having a lot of fun making some art in the Patreon for the sketchbook club, and I've been pushing myself and really trying to get some stuff done. So hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I do feel like I'm starting to find myself again, so that is good. If you haven't hit the like or subscribe button or left a comment yet, I would love it if you did. That is a free, no-cost way to help support my channel. It tells YouTube this is quality content, and it helps push it out to a few more viewers, and that helps with my ad revenue. Also, you're free to check out my Patreon and join us over there. I'd love to get to know you better over there. And then, what end then? There is no end then. I think that's it. I'm very confused today. I did not sleep great last night. Anyway, thanks for being here with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and my 2 paintings. And until next time, happy creating.